This programme is sponsored by Triona Design, the Donegal Tweed and Visitor Centre, Ardra, County Donegal. TrionaDesign.com.
I'm Cathy Donaghy and welcome to Donegal TV. Coming up on this week's show, we talk to Trevor Loughrey, a new voice for country music as he prepares to launch his new live DVD. And the stars of Irish country music paid tribute to Ballyshannon man Gerry Singer Gallagher, who passed away last year. But first, the New York Police Department Emerald Society is honouring Chief Kevin Ward, who has strong Donegal connections. Chief Ward is currently serving as Chief of Staff to the NYPD Police Commissioner William Bratton. Police Chief Kevin Ward is a veteran of the New York Police Department with over 30 years' experience in the force. He's held a number of high-profile positions in the NYPD, from sergeant to lieutenant, captain and now chief. His current job sees him act as Chief of Staff to the Police Commissioner of the NYPD, William Bratton. Chief Ward, whose family hailed from Killybegs, Mount Charles and Inver, grew up in a house where Donegal was never too far away, even though they lived in the Big Apple.
My father was very proud of his heritage, and he passed it on to my brother and my sisters and myself. My friends always joked they all know all the Irish songs because my father would play it all the time in the house, so they learned all the Irish songs from being in my house when we were young. And it's interesting that a lot of, Irish Americans become police officers and firemen and a lot of military service also. It's kind of in the tradition of the Irish people, I guess, to do service and be in the military or law enforcement in this country.
Chief Ward comes from a family steeped in the traditions of the NYPD. His father, Captain Frank Ward, and brother, Captain Walter Ward, both served over 30 years. His father's influence is one of the main reasons Chief Ward joined the ranks of the NYPD.
My father came on in 1952 and he retired in 82. He was in the Detective Bureau a lot. He was a police officer in Manhattan, and then he went to the Detective Squad in Brooklyn, and then he was a Lieutenant Squad Commander in Homicide, and then he retired as a captain. But he was very connected to the police department, a lot of his friends. And he passed it on to myself and my brother.
As well as having commanded the 17th and 9th precincts in Manhattan, Chief Ward has also earned a Juris Doctorate from New York Law School, a Master of Public Administration degree from Harvard University, and a Bachelor of Arts degree in Criminal Justice from John Jay College. In his new role, Chief Ward says he's truly honoured to be Chief of Staff to the Police Commissioner, and he's hoping they can bring crime reduction to a whole new low.
Commissioner Bratton was here in 1994, and basically, when he was here the first time, he basically changed policing within the department and subsequently changed it throughout the country through ComStat, and basically saying that police can influence crime. I mean, prior to Commissioner Bratton, a lot of criminologists said that police can only respond to crime and they can't reduce crime, that it's a social aspect, that it's poverty, and there's all sorts of social things that cause crime. And they said police cannot reduce crime. And he came in and said that's just not true. And as a result, that's where we started to reduce crime in the city. And it's kind of, as we said earlier, gone down to historic lows. And right now, we're trying to basically bring it to the next step forward. I think there's still some crime reduction we could do, but it's going to be much more focused. Back in the 80s, crime was pretty much everywhere. Now we have very small pockets of crime. So it's going to take a different type of focus on it. Instead of throwing a wide net, we have to kind of look at it as a laser beam. And I think he's going to do that. And the other thing is the one, a lot of the policies we put in place back in the 1990s, some of them over time had a little collateral damage, so to speak, with the communities that we serve. And even though crime has gone down, some of the communities in the city don't feel they feel the benefits, but they don't feel a connection to the police department. So one of Commissioner Bratton's strong things is to really build, community relations like nobody has in the past. So his belief is that we can bring crime lower, we can prevent terrorism, and we can basically build a bridge with the community. So we it's weird now that crime is so low, but it should be, police community relations should be at their pinnacle. And over the last year, with a couple of issues in New York City, with stop, question, and frisk being probably the lightning rod issue, that we're trying to build those bridges back. And I think we can do it. And I think in the next couple of years, you'll see a big change in that direction.
One of the greatest tragedies to hit New York and the United States of America was the terrorist attack on the World Trade Center on September 11th, 2001. Chief Ward says it's important that what happened that day never be forgotten.
Every generation has a pivotal point in their life. I guess for my parents it was basically Pearl Harbor, and when you think of the attack on the Trade Center, more people died in the Trade Center than died in Pearl Harbor. So it really is a pivotal point in our country's history and in the city's history, and it really changed the way we look at things. So it's important that we realize, time sometimes can, soften what it was like, but if you were down there, the devastation was unbelievable and the loss of life was unbelievable. It looked like, a bombed out city from World War II is what Lower Manhattan looked like, from the collapses of the buildings. So it's very important that we don't forget what happened that day.
Kathy Donaghy, Donegal TV, New York. Award-winning country singer Trevor Loughrey from Ramelton has been busy entertaining fans for over 10 years now. He took time out to tell Keith Fletcher all about his busy year and his brand new live DVD.
Going on in my heart, baby, it's hard to say what you're doing to me. I look outside and I see you passing by, baby, my heart goes tickety-boo, tickety-boo, tickety-boo. That's how my heart goes when I see.
Where did this all start for Trevor Loughrey?
Well, Keith supposed to started away back about, I would say, Keith, about 10 years ago, I'd say. But for me, that's where it all basically started on music.
Right. Was there a history of music in the family?
There was always a history of music in the family, because my grandmother, God rest her, that's my Granny Tolan, as we would call her, was a fantastic singer. She always would have sang in the house, and she would have sang down in the pub, down the local pubs down in the Ramelton, where I'm from. And she was a fantastic singer. And then post my father done a bit of singing too as well, to be fair. He wasn't a bad singer, he was always singing in the house, and he always singing in the car when we're driving about, from A to B more or less, but always singing, so that's basically probably where the singing come from,
And how did you get started singing yourself then?
Well, I got started singing, it was a couple of friends of mine just called me up one night to do a bit of karaoke, and first song I done was a Garth Brooks song. First, that was Garth Brooks got me anti-country music, where I never would have thought of country music a lot in my early years. I was big time anti-80s music, middle of the road stuff, But when I heard Garth Brooks, I just thought, he just changed the whole face of country music, and that's why I've got into liking country music.
So at what stage do you think, God, I'm quite good at this, or were people telling you that,
Well, I used to do a guest spot with two guys down in Derry, at the Delacroix in Derry, and they used to call me up on a weekend. I used to do a Garth Brooks song, and they'd hear me singing. I used to always sing "Tomorrow Never Comes," right. And they would say, Trevor, do you ever think of taking it up serious? Because we think you'd be good enough. And I never ever thought about it, right. Until one night I'd done a street party in Derry at the time, and it just escalated from there. And then I got in contact with them. I went in and got a contact with a friend of mine then in Derry, and he says, Trevor, he used to own a recording studio in Ballybofey, and he says, Trevor, do you ever think of doing a CD? So I done the CD, and then I took it to a friend of mine, a fella called Tommy McGilligan. You probably know Tommy. Right. He's from Ramelton there.
Oh, aye.
And then I took it in. He advised me to take it to a friend of his that was involved in radio, which was Richard Hart. He's on Strabane Radio there now, in Strabane. Took it to him. I called at his door one night about 11:15 at night, and sat there about 2:30 in the morning. He thought I was mad. It's the first time he met me. And then he introduced it to Tommy Rosny from Highland Radio, and then Keith, it went mad from there, and I've been going from strength to strength ever since that.
You weren't always singing. I mean, you had a career before this.
Well, as you know yourself, Keith, I was in the building game for 28 years, 30 years of my life. I left school when I was 15, and I was in the building game up until it was really going good. And then, as you know yourself, it just went belly up. And then I was always singing in between that. But now I took 2 years out. I was busy in the building game, so now I'm doing it now professionally, full time.
But as well as the tours, you do try and keep your feet on the ground. You play locally. You like to play locally.
Well, I've never give up, Keith. I never get up, but I'm quite happy doing. I love doing the pub scene, and I love doing the hotel scene. Funny, I done a gig last night, and a girl says to me, "No, Trevor, we can't believe you're standing here." And I actually done a pub in Convoy last night, the White Horse in Convoy last night, and they says, "I can't believe you're here," no, because they seen me when I done a live DVD there about 8 weeks ago in the Mount Donegal, and like we had over 300 and some people there. And we had a great night, and then when they see me standing doing a gig in a pub, they couldn't kind of think of saying, you know, how come you're not doing that all the time? But that's quite the band scene's quite hard, you know, at the minute, because you know it's very hard to break through to what all the top boys is doing. They nor have it, as we say, they have it sold up, you know.
So this DVD that you were recording, that's coming out now shortly.
That's coming out now, and about I'm doing a launch night now on the Mount Donegal on the 23rd of May, and I'm doing a launch night on the 21st of May in the Greenvale up in Cookstown. So we're looking forward to that. And it's a live DVD and a live CD coming out as well.
And I know this is a question that's asked to everybody. You know, do you prefer recording in the studio or do you prefer the live gigs?
Well, I don't mind, Keith. I love both, because you have great crack in the recording studio. It's a great experience, you know. But singing in a recording studio is a totally different thing from singing live. Sometimes you get to the recording studio and you think, well, you can sing a song live and you think, I'll go and record that, but when you hear yourself recording, you think, no, that song's not for me, because there's no place to hide in the recording studio, because it picks up every individual thing, you know.
And how do you pick a song?
I pick a song. A lot of my songs will be picked through the audience. You know, I mean, a lot of audience come up to me and say, Trevor, I have a great song for you.
Really?
And then I could show you my phone now, Keith. I couldn't tell you many songs, because when somebody tells me a song, I put it on my phone. You know, your wee notepad and your iPhone, so you can go back through it and you say, that song. That's mostly where I would get most of my. Well, I'd always pick stuff up myself, and then I've guys in would write songs for me as well. I've a new song coming out now in 8 weeks' time. A fella from England called Phil Taylor.
That's an original song.
That's an original song. But no, he's been writing songs all his life, but we just couldn't. We've been working together on this last year or so, but I just couldn't find the right song to suit me and to suit the Irish scene, you know. So he's got a song now for me, so I'm going back into the recording studio now in 3 weeks' time.
And where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself? Where do you see Trevor Loughrey?
Well, I'm making progress all the time, Keith, and eventually I know what's going to happen. I'm definitely working towards putting a band on the road, you know, and that's what and you always have to try and keep pushing towards that. So I'm just think I'm nearly ready to break through there at this particular time. So hopefully it'll happen now, between this year and maybe next year, hopefully. So it's all go. Everything's moving forward.
Onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards, that's it.
Trevor, thank you very much for taking time to come and speak to us here at Donegal TV.
Well, listen, it's a pleasure being here, and I want to thank all you know, the Donegal TV, because it's a brilliant job you're doing for the county, and keep up the good work, because it gives boys like myself a good chance. So you're promoting the county well, and helps you promote myself. So brilliant.
That's lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
This programme is sponsored by Triona Design, the Donegal Tweed and Visitor Centre, Ardra, County Donegal. TrionaDesign.com.
Not even close to the end, it's just beginning.
Hyundai is Ireland's fastest growing car brand. See the full range of new Hyundai models and a wide selection of used cars at T. Diver & Sons Limited, Canal Road, Letterkenny. 00353 7491 22600. Celebrating 30 years in the motor business, Diver's Garage with Hyundai, Ireland's fastest growing car brand. DonegalDaily.com, Donegal's largest news website. For up-to-date news, sport and events from Donegal, click DonegalDaily.com. Thinking of buying a Sony TV, tablet, camera or sound system? Sony Centre Letterkenny will not be beaten on price, advice or service. Call Sony Centre Letterkenny on 0035374 9113377. Sony, make believe. This programme is sponsored by Triona Design, the Donegal Tweed and Visitor Centre, Ardra, County Donegal. TrionaDesign.com.
Welcome back to part 2 of the programme. The stars of country music came out in force to pay tribute to Gerry Singer Gallagher, who passed away last year. We were there on a night to remember. A night with the stars of Irish country in memory of Gerry Singer Gallagher was held in the Allingham Arms Hotel in Bundoran recently. They came from far and wide, with entertainers from all over Ireland providing a show that Gerry himself would absolutely have loved. Peter McIntyre, manager of the hotel and a great friend of Gerry's, played host at this special evening.
I remember Gerry for the smile, the honesty, and most of all, he was a personal, very, very big personal friend of mine. Gerry Singer will go down in Allingham in 5 years' time or 10 years' time. There'll be people still chatting about Gerry Singer Gallagher.
Gerry, he's looking down now, he's smiling.
Well, without a shadow of a doubt, he'd been saying to me, why didn't you do it when he was living? But that's the kind of character he was. Like, he was looking for, I need to get a kill and I need to do this. But at the end of the day, Gerry was a character, and characters are hard to come by, and he was a brilliant entertainer, an absolutely brilliant entertainer. He probably underestimated himself in the entertainment business. He was a very good singer. He knew what he wanted, he knew what to do, and he was probably one of the best one-man bands in Ireland.
They danced and celebrated, and everyone felt that the great man was looking down at them for his last big show.
Special night here in the Allingham, and it's really good to be here, you know. And I only heard about it the last couple of weeks, and when I heard about it, said I've got to come down and just show my support and sing a few songs, you know. I knew Gerry not since I started out, but since about the last 3 or 4 years since I started playing at the Allingham here, and he'd always be playing in the bar, and he'd always come up and say hello before I went on stage, and just a character, to be honest, you know. He'd always be joking or making me laugh or saying something to put me off, you know, which was I always found really funny, and he'll be sadly missed, you know. And he was a great character around Bundoran, around the Allingham, and you know, he will be sadly missed.
Gerry was very much part of the rich tapestry of the music business. Everybody knew him and everybody liked him. Very likeable fella, great entertainer, and you know, just an all-around great guy. And you know, he was just taken so very sudden that you know, our hearts go out to his family and all his friends and all that knew him. And it's just nice to play our part tonight and come in and do a few songs, and you know, to mark his memory, you know.
Known Gerry over the years, and you know, we were good friends and that, so it's just a pleasure to be able to come here tonight. We are just one big family. When anything happens, everybody, you know, rallies round and helps out. So
business isn't always the most important thing, and the fact that we're all here tonight to celebrate Gerry's life, it brings the whole thing into perspective, because we never know when our time is going to be called. And I just hope that if I do go, that I get a reception like he's got here tonight, because the back room back there is absolutely jam-packed, and every star that's in Ireland is here tonight to celebrate. So I hope that, sincerely, that he's watching down above, and I hope he's enjoying his own party.
Gerry was always the same, no matter where you meet him. I met him one day actually in Dublin, in the street in Dublin. Didn't expect to meet him there either. And he was the same whether you met him in the Allingham or in the Gresham in Dublin. He was the same, bubbly, full of life, and a great character, great singer, great entertainer, and like he done wonders for the music business. I know he told me he was in Santa Pons, I think, during the summer and all, playing out there, and he enjoyed that seemingly, and he was a great fella, you know.
I knew Gerry maybe for 2 years, and just knowing him in that time, you get close to him very quick. It was like, you know, an immediate sort of friendship thing whenever you're a singer, and that's why so many people know him. You know, it was maybe the great name, Gerry Singer, because all the singers was friendly with him, and he had great banter and crack, and the minute he landed, Gerry was over a whole big yarn about music and where you were playing and where he was playing and where I was going that night, and call into the bar for a drink and we'll have a bit of crack, and you know, that type of carry on, you know.
I actually first met Gerry, I was in Cork. I was in the Racket Hall in Cork, and we were doing a gig down there, and he was on after the band, and I actually got the pleasure to go up and sing with the man, and he'd be well missed, you know, and he was a fantastic singer and entertainer.
Here to show our support tonight, and it's good to see so many people turn out, and like I had, you know, it's something that I definitely wanted to do and I wanted to be part of tonight, and I'm glad I'm here.
The Allingham Arms was packed to the rafters and was a particularly emotional night for his many friends from Ballyshannon and Bundoran.
It was absolutely fantastic. There was a lot of work in the background. A lot of people were there. Dennis McGuinness especially was a great guy, helped us very much. And I was talking to him earlier on tonight, and he says, you know, if Gerry Singer saw this, he would have come back to Dennis and said, I fill the Allingham.
He was a great friend of mine. For nearly 50 years I've known Gerry. And anytime Gerry wanted to say something or anything that was bothering Gerry, he'd always come to me and he'd talk to me about it, you know, and we'd discuss it. And in fact, the Saturday night before he died, he phoned me up and he says, Dennis, he says, me and you want to go for a drink tonight. And he says, we're going to the Thatch, and he says, I'm going to have a few drinks. And he says, do you mind if I stay in your house? There's no bother, Gerry, you can stay in my house anytime. So he did that and stayed in the house that night. That was the Saturday night before he died. And we had a great night up in the Thatch that night. Absolutely fantastic. He was a great friend. He was such a lively character, you know, and no matter what room he went into, he was the life and soul of the party, you know. We were everywhere together. We were in Lanzarote 3 times, 3 different holidays together, and he was the life and soul of the party. No matter what night we went out, Gerry made my holiday, you know, he made my holiday.
Gerry, as a human being, as an entertainer, as a raconteur, was out on his own, really. He was a unique character, and I remember very well the night after the Late Late show that he hosted in Ballyshannon. On the stage that night, he was down the following morning at 7 o'clock, I think, organising the post event, and I said, Gerry, you got any sleep tonight? I think he maybe got 2 or 3 hours, and that was typical Gerry. He was hyper, he was always on the go, he was larger than life.
There are a number of sides to Gerry that a lot of people here mightn't know. Gerry, in fact, was one of the best tourism promoters in this end of the county. I mean, he travelled far and wide, and you know, we often hear Daniel O'Donnell saying that Donegal, you know, made Donegal shores and things like that. Well, Gerry was very much the same. I mean, he worked with numerous hotel groups throughout the county, and he was always out there singing the praises, and I mean literally singing the praises of Donegal. Out through Scotland, at workshops in Dublin, the whole lot. And then when he actually got them here to Donegal, sure, he entertained them all night. Nothing was ever too much for him, you know.
He was an extremely skillful footballer and hurler, but his profile would have been about music, at which he was quite excellent. And I think this evening, talking to people like Brendan Gallagher and Paul McClune, who were instrumental in organising this gig tonight, Gerry would have been the proudest man in the world to see the numbers that turned up tonight, to honour his memory. And you know, the one thing I said about him recently, he was quite a good golfer as well. I never saw him in bad humour. He was a very, very pleasant man.
He was always available for charities, for different events, and certainly he would give it a full blast. And he will be a loss to the community, surely. A man today at the young age of Gerry, it was very, very sad, very sudden on his family.
He had a great way about him. He had a great communication with people, and of course the great work that he has done for charity. And of course a lot of the proceeds tonight here are for charities here tonight as well.
For Gerry's family, it was both a sad and a joyful night.
Thanks very much for everybody coming from far and wide, and my father will be very proud of you for coming, and look, thanks very much.
I'm sure he's looking down now. What do you think he'd be saying?
He'd be lapping it up, so he would. He'd be on video, he would have been turning in his grave with laughter, lapping it up. Oh, he'd love it now. He'd be if he was here, he'd be in that corner, that corner, that corner, that corner, that corner. He'd be around the room.
And the morning he died, he came into my house that morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. He walked in with a friend of mine at the same time, and he says to my friend, thinking of getting highlights of my hair. And I said, would you ever get a wish at your time of life? And he went up the stairs to Ethan, my son, who's 13, and he says, come on George, we're going to Sligo for a spin. And him went to Sligo. That was at about 10:30. Dropped him back to the house at quarter to 1. And I was packing the car to go up to the north, up to my partner's house. And Ethan got out of his car and he says, I heard Daddy say, where's she going? And I said, she's going to the north. Little did I know that was the last words I'd speak. And then Packy rings me then 12 hours later and says that he's died. So that saying, here today and gone tomorrow, has never rung more true in my mind. I'm thrilled with the turnout, and I can't believe this is all in honour of my father. And he would be so honoured. I know he's, wherever he is tonight, he definitely is a proud man. And thank you.
We remember Gerry Singer Gallagher, gone but never forgotten. That's it for the winter season from Donegal TV. We'll be back with a brand new series of shows in the summer. On behalf of myself and all the team at Donegal TV, thank you for watching us. Remember, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or check out our website at donegaltv.ie. Until next time, Slán agus Bannath.
This programme is sponsored by Triona Design, the Donegal Tweed and Visitor Centre, Ardra, County Donegal. TrionaDesign.com. Hyundai is Ireland's fastest growing car brand. See the full range of new Hyundai models and a wide selection of used cars at T. Diver & Sons Limited, Canal Road, Letterkenny. 00353 7491 22600. Celebrating 30 years in the motor business, Diver's Garage with Hyundai, Ireland's fastest growing car brand. DonegalDaily.com, Donegal's largest news website. For up-to-date news, sport and events from Donegal, click DonegalDaily.com. Thinking of buying a Sony TV, tablet, camera or sound system? Sony Centre Letterkenny will not be beaten on price, advice or service. Call Sony Centre Letterkenny on 0035374 9113377. Sony, make believe.